In this video, we're going to show you to install a window regulator with motor on your Cadillac Escalade located in the rear doors. On the rear interior door panel, there's going to be 3 access points we need to go ahead and gain. So we're going to use a pocket screwdriver. We're going to go right into the door handle pull, and there's a little trim right here. You're going to pop out this cover, pop this out and set that aside. Next is going to be our window switch panel here. Little pocket screwdriver, gently go underneath and pry up from the front section. Gently lift up and backward. It's going to give us access to the switch here to pull this up and out. Using our pocket screwdriver, we're going to release the little lock tab here, just sliding that back, and then you're going to push in. Separate that like so, set that switch aside. On the inside of the door handle pull here, there's a tiny little notch right here. Pop that panel off. Through the door handle pull on the right side is going to be a 10mm bolt here. If you have a magnet, it's going to be beneficial to you to go ahead and grab that. Then up by the door handle pull, there's another bolt up here. Remove that and set that aside as well. Before we remove the door panel completely, you're going to grab your door lock, lift this up, and it's going to give you access to here. Just use your pocket screwdriver in this little tab and pry out gently. That'll allow you to disconnect and separate that. Our next step is to go ahead and pop off our door panel, and it's held on by a series of plastic retainer clips all the way around the perimeter. I'm going to use a plastic trim tool. And the ideal spot you want to go to is just diagonal from the speaker. You're going to run it between the door panel and the door shell itself. And just pry out gently, get your fingers in there, and start to pull out. Some of these require a little bit of force. Grab that door panel, tilt it out at the bottom, and lift up at the top. This cable comes around, goes to the back side of the door handle, and it locks in on the other side of this clip. I'm going to use some needle nose pliers, and you can actually grab the barrel end here and spin this. And why are you going to do that? Well, you're going to adjust it so that the little 2 lock tabs show. Use your needle nose pliers. I'm going to compress those and pull this cable out. Pull that out, swing the cable around, and then pop the ball end out. You can see there is a little tab here on the top and then one on the bottom. So what you have to do is pinch those together in order to pull this cable end out. Once that's separated, remove the door panel and set it aside. Remove your water shield. Now this here is held on by an adhesive material around the perimeter here. You can see as I pull it apart, it's very, very sticky. You don't want to tear this. I'm going to use a razor blade, and I'm simply going to cut. And this is a self-sealing adhesive. So once you put this back in place, it will re-stick. I'm going to do this all the way around the perimeter. And remember, try not to tear the foam. Take your time and just work your way around. Go ahead and set that aside. Take your power window switch, install it. The reason why we need to do this here is we're going to have to bring our glass down into the door. where we can gain access to the 2 mounting points where the glass attaches to the regulator. Now we have the key in the on position for the vehicle. Lower this down. Right here, we have two 10mm screws. We're going to go ahead, or bolts. Our next step is we want to go ahead and pull the glass up, and we're going to either tape it or use our suction cups to hold the glass up in the full upright position. So you're going to gently pull up on that glass, separating the glass from the lift here. Push that all the way up. We're going to use our suction cups. Now, if you don't have the suction cups, you can go ahead and use masking tape or something to go up and over, hold that glass in place. At this point, we need to separate the hardware holding the regulator. So on the main beam, we have one bolt here, two nuts on the bottom. $10mm. On the left-hand side, we have 3 bolts over here. Now, for any reason, if you were just to be removing the regulator for some reason, you don't have to remove these two because these are slotted. In our case, we need to reuse these bolts. Slide the 2 studs out of the bottom of the door shell. And then we just have to kind of maneuver this up and around. Pull this up and over. Then you can see on the bottom here, we have the power window motor switch, or the connector. You can normally press down here or use your pocket screwdriver. Push in on that tab and separate this. Take the new unit, plug in that harness. Let's feed this back into place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by getting the 2 studs put in on the bottom. You have to make sure before you put the nuts on that the regulator is on the inboard portion of the glass. Here we go. So as you slide this over, you can see the bolt hole here. Get the 2 nuts started on the bottom. Now, I'm not going to tighten these. This is strictly just put in place for now, just to hold it while we get all the other pieces of hardware installed. Go ahead and grab that motor and get everything lined up over here. Before we tighten these, you want to make sure that the bolts themselves are fully down inside these slots here, and snug things down. Make sure those are good and tight. Let's operate this switch. We want to bring the glass guide down. Loosen these here. That way we can slide the glass back into these channels. Let's remove the suction cups or tape. You want to slowly bring that glass down and fit it right into the channels. Now we found when we were lowering our glass down into this, it did not set down far enough into the rubber seal here to clamp properly. This particular model has two little safety tabs here, and this fits multiple applications. So in our case, we're going to bend these tabs down. Simply use some pliers. Bend those back down. Make sure that they're almost flush because we don't want them to come into contact with the glass. Just like that. Now let's go ahead and lower our glass right down into the clamps. There we go. You do want to make sure that these are good and snug. Now what we're going to do is power up the unit, raise and lower the glass, make sure everything is operating properly, and then we'll start to install the other components. Okay, we've tested our glass, everything works good there. We're going to disconnect our switch. We can now shut off the ignition key, and we're going to install our water shield and continue to go from there. Let's get and line things up here. Make sure that your cable runs behind the door insulation. You can actually see that there is a blown out section here coming down. Before installing your door panel, go around the perimeter and make sure that all these little plastic locking tabs are in place. You can see we're missing one right here. It's probably in the door shell. Let's go ahead and pop that out and reinstall it onto the door panel. Here's that pin. Use your trim tool. Go ahead and pop that out. Simply line that up. Snap it into place. Continue going around the perimeter. Make sure all the other ones are in place. We can bring that up. Install the barrel end into the chrome part. Swing this back and around and feed it through the back clip. Lock it in. Make sure that your window switch harness can come up through the top, or at least you have a way to access it. Lift up the door panel, set it in there. We have our door lock rod right there. At this point, we want to go ahead and make sure that our plastic pins for the door panel are lining up. Make sure they line up before you push the door panel in, as you can break these clips. Don't want to do that. Analog button, slide that down. Push that in. Go ahead and snug that down. Go ahead and install your power window switch. Install the back section first. And just work your way forward. Snap that into place. You're going to take your forward trim, line that up, just gently push that in. There's little clips on the back that will lock in. Take the lower insert, line that up, just push that in. At that point there, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.